Yeah. After a few weeks away, we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Boxing Rush Hour Show live edition. As one of your hosts, Abraham Gonzalez, founder of Fights ATW, and the other host, Zachary Ochoa, professional fighter. What's the deal, Zach? You're looking real fresh. It's a Friday. You got your glasses on, ready to rock and roll. Let's go.
Yeah, man, I feel good, man. I feel great. These past 2 weeks, man. First of all, I want to say shout out to the Boxing Rush Hour for sponsoring us to get out there to you know to Vegas. You feel me? We had a great time. Me Abe was chilling. We had a great time. He was covering some stuff, and it was a great scene in Vegas. Great people. It was a big event. But these past 2 weeks, 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks. There's been a lot of boxing news lately, a lot of boxing stuff going on. So it's been a little bit rough trying to keep up with everything, but I've been good, staying busy, spending a lot of time with the family, working hard. You know how I go. How you been?
Yeah, man. Listen, Vegas was dope. I even saw you ran into one of your former opponents in Brandon Lee,
Yeah,
who's in Jersey.
I run into Bradley, said what's up to him real quick. I said, "Yo, where's my rematch?" Playing around, but he was with his lady and stuff. But it was cool, respect back and forth. But if he wasn't with me, I would have been like, "Yo, we could run it back," and people would actually fucking tune in to see that shit. You feel me?
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Oh, here he is. Like, did not waste any time, and I'm gonna take this. Hold on, let me take
In the flesh,
this banner off.
he's outside doing his laundry, Dougie.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on,
Well,
hold on, hold
how
on.
do you
Let's
know that?
hold on. Let's do this right. We
Do it right.
have it's Friday. It's not Mister. It is Michael Woods, straight from Park Slope, Brooklyn, USA, as they
True.
say.
True.
What's the deal, Mike?
Saying hello. Love you guys. Miss you a little bit. Look at that show over there. Look at him.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I want to break into a promo, Freddie Blassie style, and just talk up Zach and you, man. But I mean, how many people know who Freddie Blassie is? You do, and that's why one of the reasons why I love you.
Probably not many. We were just talking about
Yeah,
being in Vegas a couple weeks ago. Zach seeing Brandon Lee, who he faced in
yeah.
AT&T Stadium under the Spence Garcia card, I believe it was. And I mean, it was. Listen, we're two past like the kiddie shit, right? It was on some adult shit. He was saying what's up. Lee was with his girl. They exchanged some words, and and just kind of kept it real cordial. And that's the way it should be, man. It don't have to be all
Yeah,
the extra antics.
it was real cool, real nice, man, real cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it is what it is. But I saw Keith Thurman over there looking real Florida ish with his
Uh
cargo shorts and flip flops and a t shirt.
oh.
I was like, okay,
Yeah.
Keith.
Yeah, time flies, though.
So yeah, he was there. A lot of folks was there. Telfima was there. Uh, I don't know. I guess the pay per view numbers may have not reflected, but in Vegas, in the MGM, like it felt like it had a big fight feel to it. There was a
It was
certain
crazy.
level of excitement in there. Would you say the same, Zach, or did you feel a little different?
Nah, I felt the same. It was crazy. I mean, I've been to a lot of fights. I've been to a lot of arenas, the Canelos, all of them, and Canelo brings out a certain crowd and everything, and it's packed, grand packed. Versus Cotto, a bunch of guys, right? But Pacquiao came out, and you have not just the Filipinos out there, you have the blacks, the Spanish, every single person, even some of the European people out there, just all ready to go crazy for Manny Pacquiao. Every single person knew Manny Pacquiao was fighting that day, and it felt so fucking packed. I was like, yo, why wouldn't he want to do it again? And
Yes.
it makes sense financially, and it makes sense in every way for the sport of boxing. But does it make sense for his body or anything? Only he knows that. and that's not for us to judge. You feel me? So it felt like a big pay-per-view event. What I was gonna say, PBC, no matter what, they know how to throw a fucking show, bro. It was awesome. They had a great undercard. People were on their feet. It was dope. It felt like 2000. It felt like prime 2013 boxing.
Yeah, and you don't get that through the TV. You don't get that through pay-per-view, right? Like if you're there, you get that. So it's good that you say that, Zach, because people need to hear that if they weren't there and they weren't aware. Mike, I know we said Pacquiao looked like a 46-year-old Pacquiao. I mean, that's what it is. That's the reality of the situation. It sounds like he's gonna have a quick turnaround and come back in the winter. Maybe it's against Rolly. Maybe it's a rematch with Barrios. If you were Sean Gibbons, what would you tell Manny Pacquiao?
Gibbons is a savvy motherfucker. He is, excuse my language, I'm out here on the street, no kids around, okay. He's a lifer, man, and he is street smart, savvy, and if we're asking for a hint of what might come next, go back to the choice of Barrios. It's not going to be Barrios again, but so skillfully, so smartly picked. And it's not a guarantee when you pick someone like that, but your odds go up because you know what you got and what you don't got. And they were right on Mr. Barrios. What he got and what he don't got. And what he don't got and he's proven that time and time again. Gibbons realized that, and other people realize that. You don't have that killer instinct. No, you're 30 years old. That guy over there, that's not a living legend. That's a 46-year-old man who is taking the lion's share of the purse here. Is that fucking right? I know what it would be if Zach Ochoa were on that other side. Fuck that shit. That shit is mine. Right? So Barrios, nice guy. Where do nice guys finish? Not always first.
Sometimes.
Not always first, baby.
Yeah, you're right, Mike. Basically, what in translation, if you guys aren't smart enough to understand what Mike was saying, Mike Barrios was not fighting with fucking fire and hunger. Okay, he was not hungry. I saw him fighting to survive and make it a good fight and everything, but not to take this motherfucker out. Not like Danny Garcia did with Eric Morales, take him the fuck out. Gone. Nah, he just like starstruck and was just there.
And this is a problem
Big
that occurs more frequently in the age that we are in. Why? Why not? Mario Barrios is already very comfortable from the earnings he's made being a PBC stalwart for 7 years. Add that to the mix of this big payday pot. Just happy to be there. I would too. I would be that too. Somewhat, no offense, just happy to be there.
It goes like that. Like when you had, shout out to my boys, but when you had Mel fighting Canelo, you gotta put it all on the line. You got to.
Let's connect the excuse my language, connect the fucking dots here, guys. Okay?
Yeah.
This is the age we're in, and this is a real talk that not everyone can handle, and this is a little bit nichey, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit Brooklyn style. It's a little bit Bronx style. Not to get too New York centric on people, but somewhat of that. Somewhat more of a real talk here.
Yeah, and let me tell you, that's a perfect segue to one of the other topics, Xander Zayas. Listen, I've seen Xander more, just like everybody else, kind of from the start come up. He won the WBO junior middleweight title against Chino Garcia. It's funny because Xander, when he fought against I can't remember his name a year ago at the Garden. Who was it?
Teixeira?
Yes, when he fought Teixeira, like his main like complaint was that Teixeira was moving around too much and wasn't throwing enough punches and staying in the pocket.
Poor,
But
pitiful me.
but
Fuck
guess
him up.
what?
Go get him, motherfucker.
But guess what? What did he do against Chino Garcia in the second half of that fight? He used his legs, had minimal output, and did not go for the kill. When I think that if he would have pressed the pedal on his offense, he probably could have stopped Chino Garcia, not by knockout, but like by technical knockout.
Right.
Like he would have forced the referee to jump in there to stop it if he would have pressed the pedal. But it seemed like after round 9 or 10, he felt like he had the fight in the bag and he just coasted. That could just be me. That could be me, you know, kind of analyzing a little too hard. But you know, I'm gonna go with you first. Yeah, I'm gonna go with you first, Woods, and then we'll go with Zach Ochoa.
Sorry, this is the age we're in, bro. Safety first. Get to that next fight. Get to that big pot. This is small, so all I want to do is win. I am not concerned with entertainment value, and that, my friends, is a severe problem. Because what is this? It's the sports entertainment business. Focus, underline on entertainment, and just fighting to win and win rounds, not as entertaining as it could be. That's a problem.
Yeah.
What do we do about it? I don't know.
Now, Zach, am I tweaking, or was that what was seen on that night?
I think Mike was just hit it on the head big, especially with the this one's not important. Get that belt, and then we can go on to the next. But you know, they milk that excuse for however long they want to milk it. But did Xander look good? Yeah. Did he look spectacular? No. Did he put on a star-studding performance? No. Is he a world champion? Hell yes.
Yeah.
Great. I'm happy because he's Puerto Rican and this is what we do. But guess what? Close the show. Become a star. Don't become a stale world champion. Become a star. And my thing is, you look great. Everything. You got the power. You're big. You know. But guess what? You see, this guy can't take body shots. So guess what? You keep going to the body, start breaking them down. You start walking them down, and guess what? It'll look like fucking You make him look like a Jason Rosario, and stop him, and make him quit. Because the toughest guys, they'll quit, but you got to make him quit. But he didn't do that. You know,
they don't do it on their own. You have to force it.
They don't do that on their own. You got to force it, and he didn't do that. But guess what? He is world champion. But now, do you correct yourself? Do you correct your mistakes? Depending on the opponent that you are going to get, what are you going to do? How are you going to capitalize on you becoming world champion? Now, you're on stage. Puerto Ricans, I love us. But you're on stage with Bad Bunny, all these people now. Guess what? Now you have to prove it. There was a guy named Felix Verdejo before he became a retard that was knocking people the fuck out, and he was actually on the verge. But guess what? Failed. There hasn't been a Puerto Rican star that straight has explosive power knocking guys out in a long time. And you would think Zayas, yeah, but right here, look. Right here.
Yeah.
If you got that fuego, if you got that fire in you, you need that. If he looks Trinidad, he's like this. He clipped you drop him at Campos. Remember, he gets up, he dropped him back, knocked him the fuck out.
Yeah, and those shout out to those boxing. He says Zayas was brutally honest on the clinching too, following the conclusion of the fight. He said if I hadn't clinched on the inside, it would have been a completely different fight. I mean, I guess it is what it is.
What? If you hadn't clinched, then you would have been punching. Yeah.
But but listen to this. This is interesting, right? He was on the Era Hawani show, Zayas was. And he said that his top 3 opponents that he would want to face is Virgil Ortiz, Sebastian Fundora, and then Boots Ennis. Me personally, I don't know if any of those 3 fights happen. I would love for them to happen, but I don't know if they happen. It feels like to me that Zayas will have a voluntary defense, and then he's probably going to move up to 160. Am I tripping, Zach? Or does that sound like a potential?
No, you're not tripping at all. All I know is like, hold on a second. Yo.
Yeah.
Sebastian Fundora? No. Um, who else is there?
Virgil.
Boots never
Virgil?
happening.
No, Boots, leave Boots alone. Boots is different. Virgil? No. Charles Conwell? That would be a good fight. Let's see
Yeah.
that. Take someone of those guys, Um,
Yeah, and limited risk there. That's
Jesus
what it's going to
Ramos.
be. It's going to be
Jesus Ramos
smart.
Jr.
It's going to be smart matchmaking. Come
Jesus
on now.
Ramos. Look, Jesus Ramos, he looked real big when we saw him in Vegas. He's a big guy, man. Yo, but I'm gonna tell you something. He's got to say this to make his stock grow up, to get more attention to go to them. But guess what? You need to follow it with good performance. You need to have a great performance. You need to say, you know what? Just take accountability. I should have finished him. I should have, but guess what? These are the guys I do want, and I want to prove to people. Just like Shakur said, I'm not gonna run around and say, guess what? He proved that shit that night, and he fucking showed it, Shakur Steve. So now Xander Zayas has to show, okay, you want to fight these guys? Can you really stick it with Sebastian Fundora? Can you really make it with those guys? Can you? I'm not sure. Virgil Ortiz and him going back and forth. Shout out to Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz, I love this guy. I've been knowing for a long time, but guess what? He's a problem. He's a problem because he's honest. And anybody that says anything, he's honest, and he'll fuck you up. He's good, and he's got killer instincts, and he'll get hurt too.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. If I am Jermell Charlo, I'm trying to get that Xander fight next. I'm just saying that if I'm Jermell Charlo, that's the fight I go after next. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
On the undercard, Bruce Shushu Carrington did his thing. I really enjoyed how he was able to get that decision victory against a tough, undefeated guy at the time. But I just also, again, felt like there was moments in there where he could have pressed the pedal a little more and maybe gotten the stoppage, and he didn't. Zach, did you see that, or did you feel like he did what he was supposed to do in there?
I feel like Sushi looked good. He looked really good. He could have stopped this guy, to be honest. But I think there's a difference here. I think, not saying there is anything wrong, but there's a guy not wanting to, and then which is Zayas a little bit. And then there's a guy that he wants to, but maybe his body just slowed down just a little bit, because remember, we got to take into fatigue a little bit with guys with the work weight and the way Shushu's working and everything. So I think it's more of a Shushu's, he's stepping up his rounds, he's getting his work in, and now he knows, like, if he goes back to the gym, how he's got to work on his conditioning, because Shushu, he'll want to stop you, bro. He'll want to stop you if he can, because he knows that he has to in order for him to stick out. So I believe it was more of like, maybe, he was a little bit fatigued, just a little bit, but he did what he had to do with it and came up with a great win.
Woods from Park Slope, Brooklyn. Shushu from Brooklyn. What you talking about?
Opportunity was there for both those guys to grasp it, to excel, to accelerate, to uptick hard, to steal the show. They won. Not in that way, though. So don't want to be too hard on it. But missed opportunities, you could say that, or probably not within their camps. Why? Because it's a business. It's the boxing business. And the managers often are guiding these guys toward that. Think business, think business, think business. Just get the win. Why? It makes sense. Get to the next bigger fight where the pot is bigger, where the manager makes more money. Right? So if we're discussing it in terms of, do these guys, are they going to come back and be better and do better? Chances are they probably, neither of them don't think they need to. They got the W. And now let me circle back to that entertainment value or lack thereof. Slightly problematic for who? For the viewer or for the non-viewer who isn't watching boxing because too much of the time there isn't sufficient action and excitement in drama of the course of 3 minutes in a round. Safety first. Get the win. It's problematic. And it is why, inadvertent segue or no, I think that Turkeo league is going to do well because the stakes. The guys haven't gotten to the silk sheets level, bro. And it makes you fight harder when you haven't gotten the silk sheets and silk pajamas. I'm sleeping in my underwear, bro. I'm ragged. I'm on the come up. You know what
But
I'm saying?
are they underwear?
Not my underwear.
Or, I was gonna say, are they Hanes underwear?
I mean, actually, bro, they are.
Hey,
How the fuck how'd you know that? How'd you know my underwear brand? Weird.
Listen,
Sorry.
you know, this is good because again, I'm gonna use this as a perfect segue into my next conversation because I'm gonna hit you, Mike, again.
Yeah,
So
baby.
this was Top Rank's last show,
Yeah.
right? And you touched on entertainment value, and you know,
Lack thereof.
ESPN no longer with Top Rank, but then about a week after, ESPN signs a deal with the NFL for NFL properties, Red Zone, and a bunch of other stuff, worth billions of dollars. Then they come around 2 days later and sign a deal with the WWE for their pay-per-views, worth another $1.6 billion. And you know, there's rumblings out there that the UFC might sign with Netflix, but then have their pay-per-views on that ESPN subscription like the WWE is doing, to justify that $30 a month that they're going to be charging. Top Rank kind of left out in the cold with ESPN, and now they're looking for a new deal. Aram has told you that that they have a couple different platforms. I've always said from the beginning that Warner Brothers Discovery is the place because they have multiple platforms that they can house live content. So just kind of getting your opinion on Top Rank, and did they fall asleep behind the wheel and allow this deal to run out because of things being formulaic?
They made money. Hand over fist over hand, baby. I don't even know if that makes sense. They made money on it. So that was a win for them. Did they perform as me, the fan, wants? See, that's what everything that I've talked about here so far is pretty much comes back to is me, the fan, right? And all your listeners out there, fans too. They did right by them. Did they do right by me? I'm going to say they could have done better by me because they were so. It comes down to also being too smart. What's the word? Machinations. The
Yes.
setups, the fights. Keep it in the family shit a little bit. Insiders know what I'm talking about more. Too much of that. There needs to be more devil may care deals in between the fucking promotions. When we were talking before about what might happen with Xander, we're still in the realm of, is this politically possible? That's not optimal. It's every person for himself. I'm widening out the scope here to talk about America and business and just life itself. It's every entity for itself. Now, sometimes people are forced to work together. So I was thinking earlier about, okay, Xander and the likelihood, who does a Top Rank do business with? Oftentimes they are comfortable reaching out and doing business with who? Golden Boy.
Mm-hmm.
More so. Now that can change. But as of now, that old relationship, Oscar and Bob, is still in play and still has a comfort level. So you can run your speculation through that filter. Okay. So touching on a couple things there and getting a little ADHD on you, but you all get what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think that that somewhere like Warner Brothers Discovery would be a place that Top Rank lands, or do you think there's someone else that would be interested in something like that?
I'm gonna go with you, and you're smart and savvy. No, no stranger to anyone that knows you, me, us, whatever. That I think very highly of your ability to see around the curve and what's coming up over the bend. It's a Tom Petty song that I love. Something good's coming up on around the bend, and it's kind of a sad one. It's wistful because it's sung from the perspective of someone who's down in their luck and something good hadn't been coming for a while. So, um, no, I'm gonna defer to you. You're absolutely right. And why are you right? Real quick, I think the platform level and the ability to pay is at the right level of where Top Rank is now. This is a step down, and anyone would have to say that from ESPN, the worldwide leader. Dude, that's okay. Bob Arum is 94 in December. Hello, this happens. You and I have also both said, and then tossed to Zach, don't write him off. Don't underestimate the old man, the OG, Don Corleone. When Sonny goes, he can still step up and deal a little bit. So I don't know if that's the apt analogy, but I think it fits a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that like there's some folks that are, like, oh man, Top Rank still doesn't have a deal. Like it's August 8th or whatever. Listen, Bob told you for a story that you wrote on fightsatw.com that he was taking the month of August off and that things were gonna restart in September. He did
That's
tell you
it.
that.
That's the rhythm, bro. That's the old school rhythm that he still goes to. Remember, he's an OG,
If Pop
and
says
so he
that, then
does
he means business.
he does think more in terms of like seasons, right?
Yep.
And it's not a permanent season. No, we come back in September. Kids are back to school, all that stuff, and we hit the refresh button. Absolutely expect that.
Yeah. Yeah. What you think is that? What are you saying?
I'm thinking like August is prime for them right now. They are making so many moves, so many contracts, so many meetings, so many talks with fighters that this is going to be the big. Even though they don't have any fights, guess what? This is going to be the busiest month for Top Rank right now because of what they're doing and what they're going to be coming up with in September and going forward. You think a fucking company this old and this dominant is going to go out like that? Are you guys? Are you? No, it doesn't happen like that. By the way, Bob Aaron's one of the most like for 94 years old, he looks great. Like, come on, bro. You don't see a 94-year-old at a fucking at sport events like that. So whatever he's doing well, and he's gonna keep doing well with Top
And
Rank.
he's the smartest person in almost any room he's in still.
Yeah. Yeah. And and keeping it with not the smartest person in the room, but just in the promoter realm, old Eddie Hearn, old Blue Eyes, right?
Silver Spoon Eddie.
Yeah, so he went on IFL TV, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Let me make sure that was right. Yes, IFL TV, and he said that Jerron Boots Ennis has a signed fight for January or February against Virgil Ortiz. Now, and then but that hold on, but that he would fight a tune-up or somebody in October. Now, this is the way I'm looking at this. This is from the Abe lens here. Boots was getting smashed on social media about the two tune-up thing with Turkey, right? But Eddie didn't involve himself in that conversation because why? Because he hadn't signed that extension yet. So pen to paper comes out, Boots signs that extension. Oh, now all of a sudden, here comes Eddie Hearn coming in for the rescue. And what does he do?
Yeah.
The first thing that he knows he has to do, which is damage control. So let me put out there that the fight that people all want to see is going to happen, a la Turkey, a la Sheik strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put that out there, and then it'll make more people watch the October fight against whoever, maybe Rashidi Ellis or whatever,
Right.
so that people
really?
can start kind of putting together in their minds what that's going to look like first quarter of 26.
Pass or fumble?
But hold on, it gets better. So Virgil Ortiz Sr. Came on X, and he was like, what did he say? I'm gonna go right here. He said, I didn't know Eddie Hearn was Virgil's manager and told Virgil when he fights. I haven't heard anything, and it's not a hey Virgil, you fight my guy when I want. That shit has sailed, or that ship has sailed twice. He said ship, but ship.
Thank you.
Virgil is on his own path, no matter who anyone says, and that's in caps. No waiting for anyone anymore. So, is this Eddie being ultra slick in putting something out there and maybe pinning Virgil in a corner, saying that, oh yeah, Boots signed, and then if Virgil doesn't sign to agree to their terms, they're gonna be like, well, we always wanted to fight. Virgil didn't take the fight, or is this damage control for how much Boots was getting slammed on social media, or is it a little bit of both? I'm gonna hit you, Zach.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both, bro. It's a little bit of both. Eddie Hearn is smart, bro. Eddie Hearn is one of the top promoters for a reason. He knows what he's doing. You understand? Whether people like it or not, he knows what the fuck he's doing, bro. He knows that he does need a tune-up, but let me pacify them by telling them, yo, he's gonna fight this guy, but he might be fighting. And who did you say he was gonna fight?
Rashidi Ellis is what they're talking about.
I fought Rashidi Ellis in the amateurs. I give him an 8 count. And he's a really good fighter. They robbed me in that fight, the motherfucker. But he's good. He's a good fight. He's a good opponent for Boots. He can make it a bad fight. He can make it a bad fight. But with the way Rashidi fights, it's gonna be a violent fight that he might not come out on top. I'm not sure. But get back to it. Eddie Hearn is doing it the right way, the way he does it. And whether they fight or not, guess what? They got everybody off his back. They got everybody off Boots' back. Oh, you wasn't gonna fight this? Now they put it back on Virgil's court. They're playing hot potato with the fucking subject in the fight. They might not fight, but it's a fight that should happen. And if it doesn't happen, it is very disappointing because they're both young, they're both hungry, and we might be missing a fight of the year candidate. And I'm serious because there's going to be flash knockdowns if Virgil Ortiz and Boots fight. That's a big fight. So I don't know, man. But Eddie Hearn, he's doing what he has to do as a promoter, big time.
Yeah. Woods, talk to me, man. Is old Blue Eye taking us for the ride or what?
My thoughts on Boots are this. I'm disappointed. Philly guy. How old are you? How long you been doing this? You're an A talent, bro. So that comes back to what he was getting online. Where? In comment section, bro. Dive into that comment section. So Eddie Hearn saved him a little bit. Not that he didn't save him. That's the thing. What this comes down to also is leverage. The excessive leverage that A-side superstar talents have that they overuse, and the promoters and the managers and the platform providers and everything, they don't have the power. The talent has the power. Too much. Don't tell anyone I said that, but too much sometimes. This is one of those situations where let's dumb it the fuck down. Let's simplify it. How? Boots, you act like a Philly fighter. Just act, no offense, like a fighter and say, motherfucker, give me the best. Because I am the best. You say that guy's the best, I'm the best. Where the fuck is that? All right, guys, my laundry's in the dryer. I got to yank it out. My girlfriend's coming over in a little bit. You know the deal. So you mind if I jet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, Mike.
Yeah. Thanks.
All
I
right,
appreciate. I look forward to this, and y'all be well and keep on rocking and rolling and leaving them reeling, baby.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you, man.
Love you.
All right, man. Love you too.
Peace.
Peace. Yeah, Zach. So,
I think what Mike was saying right there, from what he said, is basically like he wants Boots to get it in. Fuck that. Force him. Force the promoters. Force your manager team. Yo, give me this fight. I want to make it happen. Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. It's a yo, bro. This is a violent fight, dog. That needs to happen. I don't understand why. It's all business, but then at the end of the day, it's like I get it. But the people, this is gonna do numbers.
yeah,
Boots versus Virgil Ortiz is numbers.
yeah, yeah. And joining us now is
Hey.
Jay, Fight Sports Talk. What's going on? It's been a minute.
What's up, brothers? Thanks for having me back on. Yeah,
Yeah.
it has been too long, man.
Yeah, man. What do you think of the latest with Eddie Hearn and him trying to spin this situation?
Well, at the very start, I was skeptical of saying immediately that Jaron Ennis has ducked because, first of all, we all know that after Canelo Alvarez left Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya was the promoter who was cherry picking the most in boxing. Like Zudo Ramirez, Munguia, these guys were all fighting a who's who of the who's he, and a lot. Like I remember there was Munguia was fighting somebody, and there was an article saying this is 100-1 underdog type of fight. This shouldn't even exist in boxing. So I was skeptical to say Jaron Ennis was straight up ducking. That being said, it did seem weird. I was like, why do you need tune-up fights when you just fought a world champion? And let's not forget, Ennis was saying, I want to be undisputed. I want to move up. I thought, okay. So it is a little odd to me. But if the fight is signed down the line, I don't think a tune-up fight is terrible. Now, is this going to be 2 tune-up fights? That's going to get weird. In fact, in that case, probably I'll be doing videos saying it's a duck. But if it's just 1 tune-up fight and the fight does get signed, or like you said, maybe this is mind game saying to Virgil, well, you sign on our terms, boy. The one reason I think this isn't a mind game situation is because Turki Al-Sheikh, he cares about himself and he cares about the fights getting made. He's not really on one person's side. So I'd like to see the fight right now, but 1 tune-up fight, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, I don't know if it's necessarily a turkey fight. It could be a turkey fight, but from the outside looking in, Turkey and Eddie look like they're not in the best of terms right now, and so this could be Eddie just trying to put something together out there so that people draw up interest and forcing kind of Turkey's hand to up the money or put up the money for it. It's an interesting thing because I saw something. Eddie did something similar with the Brian Norman situation where they were trying to put them in the corner and force them to agree to terms because Eddie has the platform on social media to kind of get his voice to be louder than anybody else's, right? And so this could be a little bit of that, or it could be not. It could be that Eddie is, that this is what it is. But given the reaction from Virgil Ortiz Sr. about all of this, I have to start to wonder whether it's more of damage control on Eddie's part than a reality.
I definitely do think it's damage control to an extent because usually, and there are still people in America, channels who don't like when I say this. He does actually match his fighters pretty tough, so he's not a promoter who's scared of the smokes. Therefore, the fact that this fight isn't happening immediately and Virgil was prepared to take the fight initially, it is damage control because that is technically a duck. If the fight happens early next year anyway, then it's not the worst thing in the world, and people won't even call it a duck. So, it is a little weird. I mean, because it's Oscar, who again he's just full of so much weird matchmaking. I don't know.
Hold on. Rick Merizian, who is Virgil's, apologize for interrupting, who's Virgil's manager, posted something on Instagram. He said, fake news. Virgil Ortiz is not fighting Boots at all in January or anytime soon. We have no offer. We said yes 3 times prior, and he backed out. Every circus needs a clown, and sorry, we're not in this circus. Boots needs Virgil. Virgil needs no one, let alone these childish games. You want to make the fight, stop the fake negotiations and drama, as I have not been contacted once. And if you think a deal is being made between promoters without me, then you're clearly cracked out. Everyone knows in this sport, if there is a deal to be made, I will sit at a table and make it. I don't play around the most often. Get right to a deal in the first 15 minutes or we move on. No one tells us who to fight or will, period, or ever, let alone another company or another fighter. We will mutually come to an agreement or we will go another direction faster than you can blink. So unless I post it, Virgil Ortiz or Virgil Ortiz Sr., consider it all cap. Hold on. We are close to deal now with a name far bigger than Boots will ever be. And if it falls apart, trust me, the world will know. It's time to shit or get off the pot. Interesting.
Wow.
Okay,
We have
okay.
got breaking news right there.
Interesting.
It's
Zach.
like who?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if he's saying the name is far bigger, right? I have to believe it's either Sebastian Fundora or Jamel Charlo or Earl Spence.
Well, boy.
Not happening. That would be crazy.
But I mean,
Yeah,
as
I
far
agree
as,
with you, Zach.
as far as name recognition,
Yes,
those 3 names are
I
bigger
thought
than
of Mel
Boots.
first. I thought of Mel before everybody else. So
Yeah. But I'm
Well,
saying name recognition, and if you're talking about because Spence or Charlo fight in Texas with Virgil is a big deal,
that's a monster.
real big deal.
Yeah.
So if he's got to be talking about one of those 3.
well, I agree with you, Zach. I don't think Errol Spence fights again. Now, I haven't done videos on this yet because I mean Spence is barely in the public eye these days. But it's just he hasn't fought since. There was talks of him fighting talks. I say that sarcastically because the fight with Fundora just got postponed
It's all
until
about the business, Jay. Like Jay, what do you think about? I can see PBC and Golden Boy doing business together. You understand? To get these 2 fights.
Oh yeah.
These couple fights happen, and if that's the case, then Abe is correct when it comes to either Mel or Fundora. Those are the fucking bigger fights. Those are, and they're great. And it doesn't matter who wins or loses in any of those fights. They could round robin and go crazy and make big money. You understand?
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, one thing that I learned from living in Texas in Dallas Fort Worth for 3 years, Texas supports Texas. Period. People will buy a ticket even if they've never watched a boxing fight in their life because it's 2 people from Texas. That is non-debatable, and you can ask anybody who lives in Texas. That is a fact.
Damn, I wish New York was.
Oh
like
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No.
So we'll see. We'll see. Dose. Oh, let me before I go into Dose Keith Thurman. I could see that, but I don't know. He said if Eddie and Oscar don't want to put the money into, there's no way Turkey doesn't put it on. The guy doesn't make business personal. I disagree, and this is why I say that. Turkey does mix business and personal because for that reason he hasn't done business with Gary Jonas, who owns ProBox and boxing scene, right? And so indirectly, yeah, they've done a little business, which was the Edgar Berlanga, because Gary Jonas has some sort of, contract on him. But like the Erickson Lubin fight against Baccarat, Turkey ain't picking that up, even though that's a good fight and people should. But more than likely, Gary Jonas is going to win that purse bid, and they'll put it on ProBox. So I have to disagree a little bit. Turkey does mix business and personal sometimes, in a sense where if he's not rocking with you at that moment, you're not getting his business. And
And
then
if I could just add to that,
yeah, go ahead.
If I could just add to that, Turkey has very quickly, I've said this on multiple channels, become the promoter he said he wouldn't, or the money man he said he wouldn't, where he's publicly saying, I don't want to put on Usyk versus Parker. He's talking about fast tracking a Talma into there. He's talking about a Fury trilogy, the most undeserved title shot of all time. He's talking publicly about how, or actually, he's not talking publicly about what's happening with Benavidez Bivol. I mean, I don't know if Bivol's pulled one of the biggest ducks in history, which is sad for me as a fan, but he talked openly how he didn't want Bivol to fight Benavidez. So, yeah, Turkey is versus boxing. Do not trust Turkey.
He does mix personal because I think so, because I like Turkey what he does in certain things, and with a bunch of stuff he's doing a lot of big things for boxing, which is great. But Tim Tszyu fought. He put up a tweet about Tim Tszyu, and it was a fucked up tweet, and that shit don't fly. You understand? You do not, and that's why he deleted it, because he understood and realized, hold on, what am I talking about? You don't fucking talk about these boxers like that. You know, when Oscar La Hoya is talking shit about anybody, he can, because he's been in the ring and he's a fighter, but you don't really see other boxers really disrespecting other fighters, saying, oh, you're a sparring partner. So that was really wrong from Turkey. So I agree with you, Jay, on that a little bit. But
yeah, he's petty. He's petty.
Yeah, and Dose, Turkey isn't a fan of the media. Yeah, he is if you're in the ring, in Ring Magazine, and you work for him. But I get it. Outside of that, no.
Yeah.
Let me see. Him and Canelo exchanged jabs. Turkey was able to bury his ego. Well, that's because Canelo had all the leverage. Different story. Canelo doesn't need Turkey. Turkey needed Canelo.
Yeah.
So since he been put aside, but yeah, it's different. It's different when the leverage is different. That's the only thing that you have to say. Nobody else is gonna have the leverage that Canelo had. I mean, that's just as simple as that. Yeah. Unless you're Tank, right? Tank is probably the only other guy that the leverage will be on his side, and Turkey would have to, you know, for a lack of a better term, bend the knee in order to figure out a deal with him. But keeping with that, Arthur Beterbiev, he is he is not fighting Dmitry Bivol next. Instead, he's facing Dion Nicholson, 22-1, 18 KOs on that November 22nd ring card, which looks really good now, because now you got the David Benavidez, Anthony Yarde, you got the Bam Rodriguez versus Puma. You got a couple other good fights on there. So, you know, a Beterbiev, his training staff is like, yo, Bivol disappeared. He's hiding, this, that, and the third. Is this a good move by Bivol? Like, you know, because they're also talking about maybe Beterbiev, Benavidez after that. So, I don't know. You know, what are you thinking, Zach? I'm gonna go to you, Zach, first. Beterbiev taking this fight, which seems like a tune-up or interim to something else later.
I'm gonna be honest with you, very surprised, especially with the opponent not knocking Nicholson or anything, but he's nowhere near. He will be hurt very bad. You know, F.A. Opochi, you understand? You know, it's like, and he's gonna get hurt bad. It's gonna be, hopefully he can do well, but him taking this kind of fight, it's not what we want to see. Of course, if it does lead, now let's say if they do the Eddie Hearn special and say, hey, this is gonna lead to a Benavidez fight, then that's cool. That I could fuck with that, because Arthur Beterbiev, he's a little bit older, and, you know, give him a tune-up or anything, a soft touch, even though there's no such thing in boxing. But this guy, he's nowhere on this dude Arthur's level at all. Like, seriously, if he lasts more than 6 rounds, I would be even very surprised. But this is not the fight I want to see. But if it leads to a Benavidez fight, I'll fuck with it. That's fine.
Yeah, no doubt. What you were gonna say, Jay?
I'm sure. I'm lost for words. I cannot believe Dmitry Bivol has done this. Now, I'm going to be, if I could just maybe plug my channel for a second, I'm going to be putting out a video with I'm not going to say a conspiracy theory, but possibly why this is happening, because I do not see how not just Bivol, but a fighter would pull a move this disgraceful in social media. I mean, you're not going to escape this. I mean, how is Beterbiev, the guy who's 40, fighting before Bivol? Like, is Bivol injured? Did he rip his shoulder in half? Like, so I again, I'm lost for words. I cannot see how Bivol could pull a move like this.
I didn't even know. I didn't really say anything about Bivol, but what happened with Bivol? You know, what he just immediately pulled out.
There was some rift between Bivol and Turkey for a little bit on social media. So again, you know, like I don't know. It's a mixed bag with the situation.
As I said earlier, Turkey said publicly to Bivol, do not go to PBC, do not even go to a purse bid for the Benavidez fight. And then a day later, Bivol vacates his title. So, but we're supposed to get the trilogy after that, and I don't see why Turkey wouldn't want the trilogy. I mean, he booked the rematch very, very quickly, and again, if Bivol is just sitting on the belts and waiting for everyone else to fight, I mean, this is it's disgraceful. So I'm glad. Sorry, to answer your question, Abe. I'm happy that Beterbiev is staying active. Light heavyweight is a notoriously thin, top-heavy division, so of course he was going to fight a guy we've never really heard of. But he's staying active, and again, Bivol has a lot of explaining to do when he comes back.
Yeah. All right. Moving on real quick. Couple quick hits before we get to this last topic. Topps, the trading card, has announced that they will be coming out with a Chrome boxing set starting Monday, I believe it is. You'll be able to pre-order those. There's Tyson Fury, Jake Paul, Floyd Mayweather, Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns, bunch of top-ranked Golden Boy, bunch of folks in there. Some of them are going to be signed. Some of them are, you know. So it's a Topps collection. You know, Topps has in the recent years, you know, become it has evolved and become popular again. You know, they're in Target and everywhere else, and they're making it happen. And so it's good to see boxing has been since like 1950s or something like that before that they did it. Yeah, what do you think, Zach? Topps coming out with a new boxing collector's trading card set.
I think that shit's fire. I'm getting the Floyd one. I'm definitely going to try to get the Floyd one for real, man. I don't know which ones are signed, but I definitely want to get some of those seriously. Yeah. And now if they do that with a lot of boxes, it would be cool because then you can get the magazine out, get the little stuff, and then get a whole bunch of cards, and then you can try and get them signed. Especially if you're a fighter and you got access. You know, if I got a card and be like this, yo, bro, sign this. Sign. Then you open up your book for your kid and you be like, yo, look how many of these fighters sign this. And then you just got a collection, you know? And it'll be cool if you have if you do it in weight class, like, yo, these are the fighters and best fighters in this weight class, best fighters in this weight class, you know? So I'm excited for it because I've always wanted this when it came to boxing. And I've wanted the action figures, this, that, a bunch of stuff, but I'm like, yo, why we don't get that? Wrestlers get it, why we don't get that? And that's because promoters, managers, and stuff like that. But,
and it always comes down to money, right? Because boxers are kind of independent contractors, but they're not. And then, you know, you got to deal with, you know, who has the ultimate say-so in these things. And, you know, is it the promoters, the manager, and everybody wants a cut. And it just gets messy, right? And so the reason WWE could do it is because they have the right to do it. And, you know, they don't have to ask permission. They'd be like, yo, we're going to do an action figure on you. This is what it's going to look like, you know, pretty much. And so, we'll see what it is with that. Shout out to Jose Corpus, was good. See you in the comments. Everybody on IG. My boy Stacks from Supreme Boxing, he says people are losing legacy status for money. Hey, listen, this is the thing. I mean, we can say that, but at the end of the day, they have people that depend on them. And, you know, we're in a fucked up economy. So you got to get it where you can get it. And if it's legal, you know, get it. You know, you can't. What did DMX say? Shorty can't eat no books like that. I mean, you know, you have to provide for your family. So although I do agree with that statement, it is really up to the individual person and their situation, man.
Yep.
Okay. So one of the announcements that MVP made recently was they signed Jamal Harvey. This guy is a super talent coming out of the amateurs, making his pro debut here in a couple of weeks. I don't know if you know anything about Jamal. Zach, have you heard of him? And if so, was that?
Well, wait, is he again?
I think he's featherweight. Because with the amateurs, they be so funny with the weight classes and stuff like that. So I don't know where he's going to ultimately premiere at, debut at. But he is the real deal. He was on the Olympic team. He didn't medal in the Olympics, but his amateur record was 61-8. So he, according to BoxRec, they got him down as I don't know where they got him down as, but he fights out of Maryland, and East Coast guy. They didn't put down his weight class, but I mean, he's the real deal. He's the real deal. Only time will tell if he's going to be the real deal in the pros. So
I seen some of him before, and he could be good. He has a little tricky style and his own little style, which is awesome. That's what I like about him. He's got his own little style, but if he gets cracked, you know what I'm saying? It's the amateur style. Amateurs, you got a little bit bigger gloves. The thing is, he does keep his hands down a lot sometimes, and he punches with his chin in the air, and he's got to be real careful. But most likely, they're in the gym working on that pro shit and tapping in. So I can't wait to see what he got.
Yeah, and and he's a guy that he shared the ring with some of the biggest names out there, and those guys, have kind of been giving him like, the hey, this guy's the real deal type of thing too. So he's just not a guy that's coming in here with a little bit of hype off of something else. Like, the pros and current world champions say, hey, this guy, he's definitely got the goods. So it'll be interesting to see. Jay, have you seen any of Jamal Harvey or have heard of him?
I have heard of him, but I have not watched him yet. So, next time I'm on, I'll be able to give more of an opinion about him.
Yeah. No, so I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you have the zone and you're gonna catch the club show from Caribe that they're doing, he's gonna be on that card. So maybe take a look at him and see what you guys think, and then maybe we can come and talk about it again. Let me see. He's going to be on the MVP or the most valuable prospects 14 on Friday, August 22nd. So check them out, see what you think, and then let us know. All right, the last topic. Those boxes, I believe they announced that super featherweight. All right, we'll see. We'll see between featherweight, super featherweight, maybe lightweight. He's still young, so I'm sure that he'll settle somewhere between 130 and 135. Lamont Roach versus Gervonta Tank Davis 2. Doesn't look like that's gonna happen. Spoken to some folks, and they said that Roach isn't waiting around no more. He's gotta get busy, and Tank is supposed to have his day in court, I think, next week, if I'm not mistaken. And so he's got to stay busy. So Roach is, they're now looking for an opponent for him. Whether that's at 130 or 135 is to be determined. Remember, he's still the WBA super featherweight champion at 130. So we'll see. But they're looking for a big fight. They're not looking for no tune-up or interim fight. They're looking for a big fight. So some of the big names out there that might be available. Zach, what do you think about Roach? Finally kind of putting the line in the sand and saying, "Listen, I got to move on."
I think it's a good idea. You know why? Because if you wait too long, you're hot, and you're hitting home runs, and then you're like, "Hold on, just wait down the block, I'll be back in 5 minutes." No, you come back in like 45 minutes, and it's like, "Yo, I'm tired, bro. I don't want to hit it no more." You understand? And it's like what Lamont Roach is doing of moving on. I think it's a perfect idea. He did great with Gervonta Davis. He can land the big fight. The reason why he can land the big fight is not because he's a big name. It's because they want to do comparison, as in, if you do good with Lamont Roach, if you beat Lamont Roach, if you knock out Lamont Roach, you can say, I'm better than Gervonta Davis. You can leverage yourself for a Gervonta Davis fight. You understand? That's what it's all about, the comparisons. That's why certain people can get fights. That's why he's going to get fights. Not because they want to fight him. No. Not because they want to be – they want to fight him to get that. Hoping their meal ticket to Gervonta Davis to make a crazy bag can happen. And then it can make their stock go big time. What I think is going to happen – he should not be fighting unless it's a big fight. 135, unless it's a big fight. 135 should be the weight class. I mean, 130 should be the weight class for him. 135 only big fights. 130, what he needs to do is fight a mandatory real quick or a big fight, because you're still world champion, bro. You still got priorities, and you still got things to that you have to uphold to. You understand? Because you got guys that at 130 that want to fight for your belt. You understand? Vacate or move all the way up to 135. But I think he gets a fight at 130 and then moves up to fight a bigger fight at 135. It just depends who, because all the 135 pounds, everybody's booked. Who are you going to fight?
Yeah, and I'm going to add to that, Jay, a really quick one. I'm going to go to you because we got to wrap it up. Gary Russell Jr. threw his name in there. As somebody, and that would be real big in the DMV area if those two got together. Roach quickly shut it down and said, "Nah, I would rather fight Gary Antoine Russell at 140."
That was funny,
but no, and I mean, I don't think he would do that. But real quick, what do you think about Roach moving on, and do you like the Gary Russell Jr. fight? As we wrap this up, real quick.
I don't know if I like the Gary Russell fight, just because, like Zach said, he's still world champion at super feather, and that division isn't exactly starving for talent. It's pretty stacked. We've got Nunes, we got Oshak, Stephen Fulton's moving up. So I don't know if I like the Gary Russell fight, but in terms of I think I'm going to go with Zach. Fight them your mandatory, which, I mean, the interim champion is Jazza Dickens of all people. No offense to the guy, but I mean, that's not a really appealing fight. So maybe look to unify with Oshak or, one of those guys. In terms of moving on, the same thing as Beterbiev. Now, whereas people love to criticize PBC more, again, Bivol, he's got a lot of explaining to do. Gervonta, I mean, the guy just can't keep himself out of trouble to save his life. Now, I want to shoot down the conspiracy that Gervonta deliberately got himself arrested to avoid the rematch. That's just absurd.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
No, that's just dumb. That's just dumb. But Gervonta clearly doesn't care about boxing. So the thing is, it never made, if he was able to get the immediate rematch and Gervonta wouldn't, and PBC wouldn't duck it, then it made sense. But it makes zero sense to sit out and wait. I mean, let's not forget, if the rematch does happen, if Gervonta doesn't get arrested after this, Roach is going to have to take whatever's offered to him. So yeah, move on. You had an opportunity there. Now it sucks, but it is what it is. Use the momentum from that and get back into the ring ASAP.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go real quick on IG. Shout out to Jolene Mazzone from Fighters First Management, who's also represents WBO welterweight champion Brian Norman Jr. And then shout out to our guy Brian Jaffe. He said, "Where's my shout out? Son, put some respect on my name." I see you, bro. All right, listen, we're gonna wrap this thing up because we've got things to do. But we appreciate everybody that tuned in live on Instagram, on here as well. It's about 138 folks here today. We appreciate y'all because it's a slow boxing week, nothing really going on. So you hanging with us and rocking with us. So we appreciate it. Jay, give them your where they can find more of your material at.
Yeah, Fight Sport Talk on YouTube. More videos on the way, more shorts on the way. Just trying to make sure I don't get copyrighted. Thanks for having me on, guys. And I'll be posting regularly. And yeah, we'll be back on soon. Peace
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
All the
no
best.
doubt. Hey, listen, Jose Corpus, I know we gotta have to wrap it up because Zach gotta go somewhere and I gotta do some things. So we'll have to catch up on the next one. Zach,
Next week.
talk to the people, wrap it up.
Well, you can follow me nowhere, but y'all can catch me here, or y'all can catch me on the podcast or in the gym. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to you guys. I'll see you guys real soon, everybody. Tune in every time. Just click that subscribe, to the Boxing Rush Hour show. We keep it a buck and we keep it 100. We don't fucking sugarcoat shit for anybody. There's no favoritism. We really don't care what it is. And we're gonna talk our shit.
Yeah, yo, shout out to classic WWE 2K matches. I appreciate you. You said we got Boxing in the Zone right now. Yeah, I think from Europe somewhere. So maybe we'll catch it, see what's shaking over there. Thanks again for everybody. FightsATW.com is the website where we cover boxing and wrestling. You find writers contributing from all over the world. At AG Boxing is the YouTube page, and you can check out videos and interviews there. You can even check out the replay of this show. And listen, until next time, I think we'll probably come on the next week or so.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a super show for Crawford Canelo with special guests, celebrities, whatever coming on. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel at AG Boxing. Like, comment, and we appreciate all of you. And so have a great weekend, safe weekend, and we are out.